One. Hey everybody, welcome to day, I have no idea what day it is, of the Gear It First Kick-Ass Summer Giveaway. It is now the fifth name that we've come up for this thing because I really did not put a lot of thought into the marketing of the name of this. But my name is Ronaldo Offerman with Gear It First, and I am here with the super cool, awesome high five.
Hey guys, we are Pro Gobo, David and Kate Meister.
Hi.
And as their name suggests, they are the Meisters of Gobos. These are the people that I use. If you guys watch some of the videos that we did, or that I did in the pre-roll of all the different Gobo projectors that I've used, all my moving heads, they are the ones that I use exclusively for everything. And throughout the day, I'm kind of going to plug them in on some of the reasons why I've used them. And I know why you guys are going to love them too. So real quick, guys, in a nutshell, tell everybody what you guys do as far as your Gobo services, what you've offered, maybe some of the people that you guys have worked with, that kind of thing.
Absolutely, yeah. What we specialize in is making the world's absolute greatest metal and glass Gobos. We ship them all over the world, and we ship them faster than anybody else does.
So what you're saying is Gobos are not all the same?
They are not all the same. No, not even close.
Well, originally we were actually wedding DJs too, and we used
and still are.
and we used Gobos for 216s and weddings and everything, and we were continually frustrated with the poor product, even worse service. If we even actually got our Gobo one time, and we're like, dude, we could totally do this better. So David started doing it in our garage, and we've grown and grown, and now we have two production facilities on both coasts of the country. We do shows all around the country, meeting DJs and seeing how we can help out and take some of the stress off of the one part that we can actually control, is the Gobo of your event.
Yep.
Awesome. Real quick, somebody asked if you guys ship to the UK. Like, where do you guys ship at? You know, what's the furthest you've Goboed out?
So our free shipping includes the United States and Canada. And we have shipped to as far as Australia. We ship to Guam pretty much every week. We've shipped to the UK before. We ship to Denmark pretty regularly, but it's not our free shipping, but it's still a competitive price as far as a Gobo made in America.
So even to Australia, somebody just asked about that.
Yeah,
Definitely.
absolutely.
Awesome. Well, guys, as they said, not all Gobos are the same, and this is what today's live stream is going to talk about. A couple differences between Gobos and some of the things that are going to help you stand out above your competition. If you guys look at what some other DJs are using for Gobos, you may see that the edges are jagged in the actual design. You may see those little gaps in between. We're going to talk about that as well. Or my favorite, you're going to get some cheap-ass DJ that decided to print it at home in a transparency, and they're trying to pass that off as a professional service, but that same DJ gets upset when a bride decides to use an iPod instead of a DJ.
Exactly.
Yeah, so
It's a very good comparison. Yeah.
So guys, let's real quick talk about the different types of Gobos. You know, one of the things that when I first ordered my Gobo through you guys, you know, and actually when I first started into Gobo design, there were so many different kinds. You know, you've got steel, you know, people talking about glass. There's different kinds of glass. So walk us through that. What are the main Gobo types that we're going to be walking into?
Your main Gobo that 95% of the time we're going to get called for is going to be your classic metal Gobo. And this is going to be made of stainless steel, kind of like this. Very thick material. And that's going to get used in just about any light that is intended for Gobo projection is going to be your metal Gobo. It's the cheapest option. It's the quickest option. And that's by far the most popular option. Then you've got glass from there, basically, is the next step up to, you know, a little bit more color, a little bit more intricacies. So you've got your one color and, you know, all different kinds of glass, starting from like black and white to line art to one color, two color, three color. And of course, I mean, you can take a full color image and get that in.
I don't know if that's going to show up well.
Probably not, but something like that.
So let's look at the glass Gobos for a second.
Yeah.
Why would somebody choose a regular black and white glass as opposed to a grayscale glass? You know, walk us through the differences between them. I mean, there's obviously some visual differences, but if I'm just going to get a black and white glass Gobo, why wouldn't I do just a steel if it's cheaper?
Well, so people will ask me that all the time, and traditionally people would choose glass because they had a very detailed image that before Gobo companies weren't able to make on steel. Since we are using it with a laser and it is actually missing that piece, they weren't able to accomplish intricacies, and they do have slight modifications in order to make the actual design be held in. So people in their head think, oh, I have a really detailed design, I have to pony up the extra money and get glass. And that's actually not the case with us, that we're starting to slowly educate people on. But
you're talking about a 60% cost increase too. I mean, it's not like it's $5 more. Glass does cost more. It's a lot more work. It's a lot more material. It does cost more. But like Kate's saying, we can, now in metal, we can pump out something like this. It's a little tough to see here, but
we're so bad.
Yeah.
No, you're good.
But so people also would want glass for the longevity of the actual piece. Some of the materials that these gobos have been printed on in the past aren't able to be used over and over and over. So like a corporate customer would really want a glass piece for them to either put in a permanent fixture or travel for multiple uses. But our steel can do that also. We've figured out a way to make our steel be more sustainable and be able to not burn up after one use and your leak go for 8 hours. But still, there are designs, and there are definitely, if you want color or something like that, where glass is the right option. And that's why that's also a product that we offer.
So let's a couple of questions that go with what you guys just said. Somebody asked if actually Marvin, does black on glass block out light completely like steel would, especially with some of these newer brighter LED fixtures? Is that black going to block it out completely?
That black is a true black. And so what I'll show you here, I have a little example here.
It's not really black. It's an absence of any color.
Right. It's just completely opaque. So it's not like
it's not like it's being printed black. It's either on or off.
Right.
And it's off.
So this is just not cut through. So what you can see here is
on the mirrored finish.
Basically a mirrored finish on the back.
Mm-hmm.
That deflects all the heat back. All the light that's not going through the actual opening is being deflected back. I mean, it doesn't even have a chance to get through because it's a mirror.
And I guess that's what a lot of DJs are kind of getting confused, because a lot of manufacturers, not just any specific one, they include some glass gobos, but they're not really glass. It's just paint that's been etched out. And if you can show that real quick back again on the camera, if you guys see what they have is very different than, the gobos that are free that a lot of companies bring out. I'll use, for example, my ADJ Encore profile. It has glass gobos, but they're not this type of glass that has the chemical that, bounces the light back. It's etched paint. So yeah, after a while, those do wear out. These glass ones don't, correct?
Correct.
With the right care, I should say that.
You guys, I was going to say, you have to have a side that goes towards the glass or towards the bulb, right?
So the most reflective side goes towards the bulb. If you think about it, you want to keep your gobo as cool as possible.
Okay.
So you want to reflect the light and the heat away from your gobo. So you wouldn't have that facing the lens. You'd have that facing your light source. So the matte area would go. I'm explaining this right?
Good,
right?
good,
okay.
Yeah.
The matte area would go towards your projection surface, and the reflective area will go towards your bulb.
Awesome. Now, touching back on what you guys had said, how, way back in the day, people did choose glass because it did give you a sharper option. One of the other companies that I used before I, worked with you guys, every time that I want an intricate pattern, and this is something I'm telling you guys, not Pro Gobo, but the viewers directly, is the main reason that I switched to Pro Gobo was the other two companies that I used. Every time I needed a design, we can't put that in there. We can't put that in there. Their laser can't cut it, or there was some BS excuse every time, which is why I've always nicknamed Pro Gobo the Mexican Gobo company. These guys can cram a lot into a design. I actually want to put that on screen. If you guys can tell them real quick, first of all, when you guys see this image, notice that the background is a quarter. It shows you how small this gobo is. So Meister Clan, if you guys could tell them real quick, what is this gobo about? Why is it so small? And if you can just kind of, I guess I'll kind of zoom in so they can see that there aren't a lot of jagged edges or anything.
Yeah, this is a super, super tiny gobo. I think the image size is like 5 or 6 millimeters. We're pulling it up now, but yeah,
I think it's 5 millimeters is the actual image size.
It's pretty much the size of a pencil eraser, and you can see it sitting there on top of the quarter, and it's actually some candles that we cut for a customer. It's in a moving head, and this thing was just
it was kind of more of like a can we do it kind of
It's
thing.
more just to prove ourselves that we can handle it. Yeah,
I mean, I
pretty
don't
much.
get a lot of requests for pieces this small, but before we tried this, there was no gobo company that could even do this. They couldn't even do it in glass because it was so small. So it was kind of like a really proud moment for us to realize what we were able to do on small pieces in general, including this small.
Absolutely. And I'm guessing technology has changed for you guys quite a bit. When I ordered my first gobo, which was a pretty intricate design for the pinpoint gobo, you guys had mentioned, hey, this one may have some little jaggeds because or jagged edges because it was a very intricate design. It was more than anybody else would even be willing to do. But then I order an even more intricate design, and it looks super smooth. So has a lot changed, like in the last, few months, or 6-7 months of the the pinpoint gobo came out? How exactly do you guys really accomplish that without giving away your secrets?
So a lot of it, when these new fixtures come out, is a lot of trial and error. I mean, these the machine manufacturers have figured out how to make their light work, but they haven't done, in my experience, a lot of testing with different designs and different inner diameter sizing and things like that. So whenever a new fixture comes out, we're always, with the help of you, of course, trying to figure out what works best with that specific light. I mean, it's not like a one size fits all kind of thing. And more than anything, actual gobo cutting is an art form. So one person cutting it on the exact same machine is going to get a different result than, say, somebody else would.
I think that's one of the big misconceptions is that if you have, people think that if you have the machine, then you can cut any of this stuff, but it really isn't like that at all. It's not like a regular printer where you just hit go. There are, hundreds of calibrations and settings and things that you have to get right. And that produces millions of combinations of ways you can run this thing to get cuts like we do. And so it's been a learning process over the last 5 years. And like you said, you can see, the change every time we make a change or modification to how we're doing it. It's getting better, and tighter. And that's kind of why we excel, I think, because we just focus on gobos. And we focus on making the best, cleanest cuts.
I'm not going to sell you tape. I'm not going to sell you anything else. Like gobos is what we focus on daily.
That's my fingernail.
And honestly, that was one of the things that I really did like about you guys specifically. And like I said, I'm going to plug you throughout the show. Gobos are one of those things that clients always wait to the last minute to really get the design. I mean, I think all of us, especially in the chat, if you guys have ever done a gobo design, you know that everybody waits to the last minute to approve that design because people suck. But it is one of those things that, if we order, it's an urgency. It's not something that can be really delayed. It's one of the most important design aspects that we bring out to an event. And you guys always give me tracking numbers. I can't say the same of any other company. You guys are the only ones that give me tracking numbers. So thank you for that.
I mean, the past 6 months, it's finally automated. But before then, it was me literally emailing you, hey, don't forget your tracking number.
But
so finally automated.
Yeah, no, it is the fact that you guys did have that tracking number. And guys, when we talk about, especially when you hear the phrase, the world's fastest gobos, they're not kidding. I had an event. Big beauty pageant. There was a miscommunication between my client and I. She said she wanted 3 gobos. What she meant is she wanted 3 sets of 3 gobos. And I call these 2 guys. I'm like, okay, I'm freaking out. What the heck can we do? They literally made those gobos back the same day. And they Ubered it because I'm in Orlando too, which is where they're based out of. So they literally Ubered it. Nobody else could have done these designs. And these were not easy designs. Well, it was within 2-3 hours that you guys had it done. It was ridiculously fast.
Absolutely. I think the majority of that was that you were about 45 minutes away over in the attractions.
Yeah.
So the Uber was the rate limiting step in that one.
Yeah, I never, and it was one of those, because I'm like, okay, I got to figure out how to get somebody there. And you're like, oh, let's just use Uber. I'm like, that's awesome. And I remember I did the video, because the thing started at 2, it was less than 3 hours because the actual show started at 3. And I did the video at 12:30, 1 o'clock, because I remember I was having lunch at that point, bragging about how you guys were able to bail my ass out, because if not, that would have been a huge disaster. Now, that kind of sort of segues me into gaps. Let's talk about gaps, because I've had designs or gobos that I've pretty much had you guys redo, because the other companies that I've used, it was just filled with gaps everywhere, to the point that I should have used a glass gobo. You guys had a lot less gaps. Why is that? How is that calculated? Is that you guys? Do you have really smart math people? I mean, how is that calculated, and why are yours so much different?
Yeah, you want to take that one?
I mean, I can barely count, so it's definitely not a math thing. But it's also been a trial and error thing that we've kind of evolved. If you look at something, I mean, we'll look at a design that we did a few years ago and be like, oh my gosh, I would totally tab that differently nowadays.
Well, let me back out a little bit for people who are, I see some people in chat who like maybe are not familiar with Gobos as much. So I want to explain what the tabs are a little bit better here. But the
Yes.
we're talking about I'm digging through Gobos here to find just an example.
Well, here I can zoom in on the teeny tiny little one too.
Okay,
on one side.
that works too.
Or the other one that you have, the picture with all of them. That's kind of a good representation.
Both the one with the 4 images.
Yeah.
Basically, these are just we call them tabs or bridges, and these hold in letters like A, P, Q, R. Any letter that has a circle inside that if you cut around it, it would fall out. We have to put a little tab in there, essentially.
A little break in the line.
Yeah, it just holds it in, basically. That's all it does.
There we go. Sorry, for some reason OBS decided to lock up on me. I mean, you're still good. It'll take a second for it to show. Okay, so it is up on there, so I guess they can see the tabs a lot better than that.
So if you see like in the P and the O of Pro Gobo on the steel Gobo option, those have just the little breaks in the bottom of it. I don't know, you're the genius here. How do you decide where you put them?
Tabbing is designed on our end basically to be the most limited, removing the little least part of an image as possible. So we want to keep the integrity of the image the best we can. So where a company might put in, if you picture like an A, right? If you picture an A and you go through.
Talk about this O.
Okay, yeah, sure. So if you talk about the O and Pro Gobo there, and where a company might put in 2 tabs there, we just put in the 1. So like that's how we kind of look at it. Like, what's the least amount of tabs we can put in this thing, make it function, make it be strong, and still make it look awesome.
And so there is a little math and you decide like how large they are, how thick they are, and that's when you get into these smaller designs that that's part of the reason why I think other companies aren't able to cut them, is because their tabs have to be so much larger that you actually lose part of the design. And I think not only our machine, but our materials as well help us make them more discreet and smaller and less intrusive, because we do use thicker steel.
Well, I'm glad you said that. So let's talk about that next part. The other companies and one that I've used, it's flimsy. Actually, if you could show the steel, and if you guys want to mention brands, I mean, we're legally allowed to because we're comparing and contrasting. If not, I can say it's up to you.
Here's this one here.
Oh, look, the name's on there. So.
My bad.
And no, it doesn't matter, because I mean, if not, I can say that because I'm a reviewer. But that was one of the reasons, that we saw the Roscoe name. That it's like paper.
It is.
And
ours, you can bend it if you try enough.
And
but I couldn't bend it in half.
Well, that's it. And one of the big Gobo parts is, you can't touch Gobos with your bare hands. Just like, reason you can't touch a bulb, because we have oils. The oils sit in the center of the Gobo, and I have a bunch of Gobos from that company that are just completely fried in the middle, and some of them just broken apart because those tabs, one of my guys touched it, not realizing it, and because we put them in an LED fixture, and they will put them like in a Martin PR1. So now all of a sudden that just completely cooks out and breaks apart. I haven't noticed that with yours. I mean, have you guys touched your Gobos with your bare hands and not had to worry about it breaking apart?
All the time. I've honestly never heard of that until we talked about it earlier today. And sure. I believe the science, and it makes a lot of sense. Like when we handle our actual bulbs, we always wear gloves. We never touch the bulb. So I understand the science. But I think more of it is that, especially once you've used it and it has a little oxidization and it has a little burn on it, their tabs are so thin and the metal is so thin that just touching it and the force of your fingers in general will break your tabs. Not necessarily it's more susceptible to being burned because it has oil on it. I just think that they're so fragile because they're so flimsy. Am I wrong?
No, what I would recommend is that if you had something that you wanted to reuse over and over and over again, like a logo, or let's say a texture, a stock pattern, like some clouds or something like that, I would recommend that you handle it carefully. I wouldn't rub your hands all over it and get your oils and greasiness all over it.
But I never really thought that you should wear gloves.
No, it's not something that impacts our materials. They're just a totally different type of metal than what is already out there from other companies. Those you do need to be careful with. Those, you get a little oil on them, and those may actually be damaged by that. ours you can handle, and it should be just fine. We've never had an issue about that.
That's awesome. Now let's talk about the thickness. I've had some people say that thicker gobos don't look as sharp, and I don't quite understand that. Is that a real thing, or is that just salesman crap?
Thicker's always better.
No, I swear to you, I'm sure some people in the chat have heard this before. Oh, well, you know, thin gobos give you a sharper image, and I don't understand the logic behind that.
That's I don't know. That's a little bit of a silly argument. Because the metal is thicker, it allows us to make our tabs smaller, and I'll repeat that again because it makes sense if you listen to it. The thicker the metal is, the more these little tabs, the smaller these little tabs have to be.
The stronger
the stronger they're going to be. I don't have to make them quite as thick as you would with a thin metal.
But if you show the design on this one versus this one, if you can actually come across.
I don't know if you guys can see this okay, but this is a pattern where it's basically the same exact pattern.
The same file.
Same image.
Made by, here.
See if I can
You don't have to cover the name.
There you go. So there's that versus ours.
So we sent the same file to one of our competitors, and they ended up blowing up the image and kind of making everything appear more boldly.
It's a little tough to see.
Because the metal is thinner, they weren't able to keep it as delicate as we had intended the design to be.
And that really affects image size. So yeah, let's talk about the gobo size and image size. Before we started the live stream, you know, we talked about how people think that most companies are set to just a few gobo sizes. They have the discs and that's it. But in reality, you guys can cut gobos of any size, even for weird, you know, Chinese knockoff fixtures, if anybody is doing that. But you guys can cut them pretty much of any size. But let's talk about image size, because different gobo projectors have different image sizes. Some people, you know, get smaller, image size in the gobo. You know, why would they want to get a smaller image size than what the gobo recommends? And just in general, like, what's the difference really between different image sizes as far as the overall image of the quality of the gobo when it's projected on the floor?
Yeah, that's a good question. So if you were going to a venue that you knew you were throwing, you were going to be on one side of the room, say your DJ booth was going to be on one side of this really long room, and you knew there was a wall across from you that is just like the perfect wall for projecting it on. But you know that normal gobo size, when you've been there before, makes it just way too big.
Mm-hmm.
You can actually tell us that this is the issue we're having, and we can scale it down for you. You tell us how much you want to scale it, so you can literally tell us, I would like it 50% of its normal size. We do the work on our end to shrink that image diameter down. That way, when you get your gobo, all you've got to do is put it in, and now it's half the size. No work on your end. Put it in the same spot it's always been, and it's half the size. On that note, we also offer a unique service. I think it's just unique to us. I don't think anybody else does this.
It used to be. I don't know anymore. But
where we will offer a duplicate at a duplicate price, and you can get that in a different size. So
really?
Yeah. So for $25, you get a duplicate, but you can get that one scaled. So let's say you want one at 80% because you're not really sure. You want a little bit small, and then you can get another one at 40%. And you have a backup. It's kind of like an insurance policy. If let's say something happens to one of them, or you get there and you just don't like the size of that first one, just pop that second one in, and you're good to go.
Or like you get there and they have like an arbor or something set up over there, so you have to totally change where you were planning on throwing it. You have two options if you're going to be farther away or closer together. And so usually if you tell us your light fixture and how far away you're going to be and how large you want your final image to be, we can do the math to scale it down for you. And that's what is included in the duplicate pricing. Whereas most companies would be, a duplicate would have to be the exact same size of the exact same scale with the exact same artwork.
Not how accurate, but what's the word I'm thinking? How intricate can it get? Like if I say, hey, I'm using a 15-degree lens and I need the gobo to be, 40 feet wide and it's so-and-so throw, can you actually give me the right image size for that to be as close to that as possible?
That is exactly what we do. And not only that, but if you were to, if you knew, let's say you're against a wall, you have a truss system that's 10 feet tall, you know how high it's going to be, and you know you want to put it on the dance floor, and you give me that angle, I can give you a gobo that's pre-skewed so that when you hit the floor, it's nice and even.
How
It
much,
levels itself out.
on average, how much more is that?
We include it.
Oh,
for
really?
free.
So while everybody else charges me 25, 40, 50 bucks, it's included. Guys,
For
take
right
note of
now,
that.
we include it for free. Yes.
That's awesome.
Not a
So,
lot of people take us up on that.
well, so basically, and that is that like, for example, when you mentioned that you could do a different, size in your duplicate, would that also be with the skews? So for example, if I have an event, I don't know if I'm going to hang it from my trussing on the floor or if I'm projected on the wall, because sometimes it's going to be either or. And I tell my bride, listen, we're going to aim it on the floor, but if it doesn't look good, we're going to aim it on the wall. And then I have a pre-skewed gobo. I'm like, well, crap, this looks awful. So would I be able to order that duplicate skewed?
Unskewed, yeah. You could get it skewed or unskewed. Yeah, so that's actually one of the only times I will ever really even offer it is if they're already getting a duplicate, because I just don't want to have anybody get in a position where they show up, like you said, and they've got this one intended for a dance floor, and now it's got to go above the cake, and it looks like this.
Yeah.
That would be terrible. So you want to make sure you have everything, in your arsenal to have a successful gobo.
Is it just a vertical skew, or can you do horizontal as well? So if I have a gobo projector here, but I got to hit that wall over there.
So I have a guy I'm working with right now, and he's got a building he's lighting up. And so what he's doing, it's a tall building, taller than it is wide, right? And so we're actually taking the dimensions of the building, where he's going to put his lights. We are breaking his image into 3 equal images of the building, and we're skewing them so that he can put them all together and make one pattern gobo across the whole entire building.
That sounds ridiculous.
It's unreal.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah,
It's really
that's
cool.
wow.
I know
Awesome.
that.
So I'm copying and pasting some questions. We'll kind of do like an FAQ as we're announcing all the names. But let's go ahead and go into like the 3 myths. For those of you guys tuning in, I'm here with the Meisters, David and Kate of ProGobo.com. Before we go into this next section, I want to really mention the website name is Pro Gobo, not ProGobos.com. So make sure that when you order, you go to ProGobo.com, not other websites trying to jock their name. If you guys have heard my rants, I've gone about DJs that have taken 4 schools only, have done like 4schooldancesonly.com or 4schoolonly.com, and people do that to basically jock your crap. Then somebody mistypes or puts the wrong name, their website pops up. You guys have gotten calls about people from this other company that haven't.
So I need to take after you and make my own rant video here any day now.
I don't think that's a wise legal decision.
So there is a company that's been around longer than us that I don't know if they're feeling the heat or what, but they went out and got ProGobos.com, and they've set up a website that looks an awful lot like ours. We've gotten a bunch of calls from the people who have accidentally ordered there thinking they were ordered from us. And every one of the calls has been, hey, where's my gobo? We haven't received it, whatever, and
I haven't received a proof. I haven't received confirmation of the order. I ordered 3 days ago. You said it would be
so
here.
we get the order number, and it turns out that's not from us. So make sure it's from ProGobo.com. I can't really say any more about that under the recommendation of counsel, but it's a situation that's being dealt with.
To put it easily, before you order anything online, make sure you're ordering from a website the company is easy to get a hold of. If they don't list a phone number or a working email address, don't spend your money. Don't give them your credit card. If you can't call somebody and talk to a customer service representative in person on the phone, don't spend your money with them.
Absolutely. So, and again, I kind of want to bring it in because when I typed the name, I accidentally almost typed the wrong one. I'm like, son of a gun.
I know. My grandma calls it hobos and pro hobos and pro globo, and if you're not talking about it all day every day, it's very easy to get it confused.
Or GoPro, or if you're in the South and you have public, so BOGO.
Yeah, well, that's it. Siri keeps correcting gobos into hobos. It corrected mine into something else that sounds like Bob. Kind of, you know what I'm going with this? It's a adult activity. So, yeah, I've had to do some explaining to schools before on that one. Anyways. But
the
no.
daily struggle for us. We understand. Doesn't like it.
So, guys, yes, please make sure you guys check them out. ProGobo.com, the world's fastest gobos, and they can cram everything that you could imagine. into just the smallest absolute gobo. I use a lot of the ADJ moving heads, and ADJ seems to be making these gobos smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. By this time next year, they're going to be smaller than a fingernail, it seems. So it's really nice you guys are able to get those patterns on there. But before we started the live stream, they came up with 3 myths that a lot of people don't quite will believe that are true about gobos. So let's go over those 3 myths.
So the first one we came up with is that gobos are a one-time use kind of thing. Some DJs who aren't into purchasing steel or glass gobos and using them with all of their events just see it as an expense that they're paying, and they're not really going to add any value to their package with it. And so they will come up with trying to print their own or something similar. So we're debunking that myth.
The fact that the idea we're in the live chat, sorry. The idea that gobos are a one-time use is is just the wrong way to look at it generally, right? So the whole reason that we even offer gobos is the same reason we offer uplights, or the same reason we offer sound reinforcement as DJs, or the same reason we do anything that we do. It's an add-on that helps build value for your customer, really. And at the end of the day, if you're thinking of this as a disposable product, then you're completely on the wrong track. What you should focus on is how you can use this to build more value for your customer. And so apart from getting the gobo and installing it and making it look pretty and beautiful for this bride's day, what I would recommend you do at the end of it, at the end of either the event or when you send a follow-up letter thanking them for their for hiring you, which I hope everybody is doing who's watching this as a wedding DJ, is you take something like this, put something like this together, take that gobo, stick it in there with some double stick tape, and bring a little frame with you or something, have it pre-printed, and leave this on the gift table. Something that instantly builds tremendous value for a piece of metal that you're never going to use again, really. For us,
I still have the gobo from our wedding.
Yeah,
pinned into a shadow box.
It's in our shadow box on our wall.
And everything else. So, and part of the other added value is that we're doing all of the artwork for you as a gobo company. You are choosing from our catalog or providing us with an idea, and we're building a high resolution graphics for you that you can then pass off to your bride as a brand for their wedding. So they can use it on their wedding favors. We have them do it on shot glasses. We have them printing this logo that we're making for the couple all over their wedding. And that's included in the price of the gobo. It's artwork that I make for you, and you get a copy of it to put on the footer of your photo booth strip or something like that.
It's free graphic design, basically.
So I'm a big fan of what you mentioned, just framing it or giving it to the client. It's something cool. But I'm sure I think you guys still offer what we talked about. How will if they look back on the gobo, or if somebody else sees it, how would they know that was my company that gave them that gobo?
So we are offering, when you order from somewhere else, they will put their name and their website around the edge of the gobo. Ours inherently come unbranded, so there's nothing on them. But we do have the option to add your company's name. So you could put 4 Schools Only around it. So if that's framed in their picture frame in their house, they'll always remember, oh yeah, 4 Schools Only, and that was my
Your brand is on it forever.
And that doesn't affect, obviously, the image once it's projected. It's just on the rim on the inside.
Right. That's like etched in, sort of, instead of actually cut through.
Absolutely. Real quick, while you pull that up, and those of you guys watching, it's not just about building brand recognition with your client, but one of the side things that I do with my gobos, I rent them out, which I don't understand how or why people rent stock gobos, but they do from me. I make quite a bit of coin on that, and that way at least nobody can say, oh no, this wasn't the one I rented from you. Yes, it's got my name on it. So that really worked out, especially as you said, gobos don't have to be a necessarily one-time use. If you guys remember, I had an event not that long ago where it was all about Buffalo, New York, and I needed Buffalo gobos. And
I didn't know why you needed them. I just knew you needed Buffalo gobos.
And it was great because I was meeting with my client. I was able to just message you right then and there, say, I need a Buffalo gobo. And those of you guys watching, literally within minutes, they had a proof ready for me. I didn't have to send them the graphic that I wanted. And that's the next part. A lot of these guys...
We love buffaloes.
Huh? Yeah, no, there's no Buffalo stock gobo. But now I have stock gobos with buffaloes in them.
And we have buffaloes in our stock catalog for the next Buffalo event.
So the next part is a lot of these guys, before we get to the next myth, a lot of these guys don't have Photoshop or have zero Photoshop skills.
I know.
You know, or they're on their phone. They don't have time to sit there on their computer and try to draw something out. Do you guys have something on your website where they can just design or choose a like one of the pre-made designs or something? They can just plug in the names.
Yeah, we have 3 pages of designs for our steel gobos that you can go to. Choose any of those. We've got sweet 16s, birthdays. It's primarily weddings, to be honest, but we've seen those. We've seen people use those for logos. You know, people who don't have a logo or just starting out. Pick one that they like, and it gets them through their first bridal show or whatever.
And they'll mix and match. They're like, oh, I like this border, or I want this one from this number and this font from this number, but can you orient it like this one? And I mean, we include all of the artwork in the price of our Gobo. So if you want to prove it's not additional, if you want to see what it's going to look like, I mean, if you have a picture off of Pinterest that you really like this design, but you want it in a different font, that's what we do. That's what I do all day.
That's awesome. So let's go. Hold on one second. Sorry, I'm like trying to copy and paste all the questions because there's been a bunch that just popped in. Hold on a second. I've got another one. So now let's go into myth number 2.
That's awesome.
All right, you want to go over myth number 2,
How
David?
do I get that on my mic?
Oh, I have a Yamaha AG06.
You have a fancy Britney Spears microphone.
Yes.
Oops, I did it. Okay, sorry.
Myth number 2, Dave.
Myth 2 is that gobos take forever to make and ship, and that is that's like so old school thinking, because that probably was, you know, it was true in the old school, in the old days.
I mean, other companies will have you check a box before you give them your credit card information. I understand it will take at least 3 days to produce my Gobo, which blows my mind.
Yeah, we were kind of in a brainstorming session trying to figure out why, and the answer is we don't know. No.
So with that said, we produce same day generally. If you get it to us before like 5 p.m. Eastern time, which is an insane cutoff time, but we will still take orders that late most of the time, and it goes out that day.
Get into production, be complete in production, and ship out that same day. So on our end, our tracking information goes out around 7 o'clock Eastern time. You will have a tracking number for your order that you made at 5 o'clock 2 hours later, and it's on its way to you. Also included in all of our Gobos is our free standard shipping. And so that will get anywhere in the US between 3 and 5 business days for free.
Definitely.
And then we also have super competitive pricing on overnight shipments. So if somebody emails us at 5 o'clock, hey, I need a Gobo tomorrow morning, no problem. I'm not going to charge you a rush fee. I'm going to charge you my competitive pricing that I get from FedEx, and that's it.
So no rush fee.
No rush
fees here.
It's $35 to get it overnight, but it's just our Gobo price, which is $69.95 plus $35. So for less than $105, you have your Gobo on your doorstep the next day.
That is absolutely incredible. Let's go now into the third myth.
You can talk about the Gobo myth number 3 because you wrote like a paragraph on this.
It's not a paragraph. I just said.
We kind of already touched on this a little bit, but and so is Arnaldo with ADJ. The new fixtures that they're coming out are getting smaller and smaller and smaller,
Right.
And so people are doing crazy things like, I have to use plastic, I have to make my own Gobo because this fixture won't take a steel piece.
The myth is that you can't get high detail on these smaller and smaller pieces that are coming out, and that's also not true.
I mean, we've talked about it enough tonight. I mean, it's absolutely not true. The other companies will limit you to 3 letters on an LFS 75, which is absolutely not the smallest piece out there anymore with the viewable diameter. And we can fit way more on an even smaller piece, as you saw with the candles.
Yeah, absolutely. So I actually want to pull that up. I have a photo here that shows how intricate they are. Do you guys by any chance, I should have this, but yet I don't. Do you have the Gobo spec for the ADJ InnoSpot Pro? Isn't it like 22 millimeter Gobo? It's like this tiny little thing.
The InnoSpot Pro is going to be
24.
a 23.5 at OD, and the ID should be 19 millimeters.
Well, there you go.
All right, so I am putting that image on screen right now, and what I did is I had them make these Gobos for me. It's one of my absolute favorite Gobos. David Teixeira pretty much made this pattern famous. But yeah, I mean, basically, you guys can see it, and I really wish I had a higher res photo of it. This is with the prism, but if you guys look in there, you can actually see there's none of the jagged edges, and it's a very intricate design that no other Gobo company was able to make for me. I think, if I'm not mistaken, that's actually how I found you guys. Because was it at the LVDJ show that we were officially we were talking and we were trying to figure out? No, David.
Was that where we went to the slot machines?
Yeah, no, we were like having dinner and we had like some horrible janky burrito late night.
Yeah.
And because I remember I regretted that burrito shortly after. But I'm like, can you guys fit this much into? Yeah, it was the Las Vegas DJ show.
Yeah, it was Las Vegas.
That's the only one I haven't been to with you. Or the first one I didn't go with you.
Yeah, and to this day, you guys were really one of the only companies that could do that. So that is, again, that's definitely a good thing to bring up, that smaller gobos don't necessarily mean that you're screwed as far as being able to get into a design.
And we're, like I said, we're always up for a challenge. So even if it's something crazy and it sounds crazy to you, I mean, send it on over. I mean, we're totally down to do some testing just to see how it turns out. We're never going to send you something that's not going to work. And we'll obviously let you know ASAP if it's not, but it's literally never happened.
So somebody actually asked earlier, I was going to say this for the FAQ, but, you hear some people talking about, well, the gobo manufacturer I use is environmentally friendly. Are we killing bunnies to make gobos?
We're not killing bunnies to make gobos, and we're not using environmentally harmful acids that have to be disposed of in some professional way. I mean, we're using carbon dioxide and compressed air.
Okay, real quick. First, Pro Gobo does not kill bunnies. What do you mean by acid, CO2, compressed air?
Our new tagline does not kill bunnies.
Yeah, I don't know about you guys, but I don't know why that hasn't been a tagline before. Because I can tell you right now, I'd be like, wait, were bunnies dying? No, but okay. So what are you talking about as far as like acids and the compressed air? I mean, isn't it just a laser cutting it like a Death Star or?
Gobos have been around for at least 2 or 3 decades now, and when they got going, the technology was that you use harsh chemicals to eat away the part of the metal that you want the light to show through.
I mean, we've done it that way probably like 5 or 6 years ago. We tried it out, and it ate through my washing machine.
That's how nasty
intense
stuff.
These chemicals
it's
are.
nasty stuff. It's not something you want to use on a large scale, and there are still some companies that use it very regularly. But our stuff is all done with a laser that to be quite frank, was built custom just for us essentially, and so that's why we're able to do the stuff we can without killing any bunnies.
That's this is gonna be a new thing, guys. Remember, make hashtag not killing bunnies a new thing. So what I'm going to do is real quick, guys, I'm going to send you the text file of everybody that's subscribed. Okay. Originally, I was thinking about just having everybody that is tuned in just shoot me a text, and then I realized what a disaster that would be too. So hopefully the people that are here will actually pick up the phone.
So we're just going to random it until somebody is here, right?
Yeah, so basically, you'll copy it, just copy and paste this file, like open it up, copy and paste the text into random.org/list. And instead of reading the names, I'm going to type it in the chat. So those of you reading in, for those of you here, I will be typing the name, not saying it, because we right now have a 1-minute delay. So...
yeah, I don't know what kind of file.
It's just a text file. So don't worry, it's going to look all weird when you open it. It's just a text file. Open it up.
Randomize it.
And then you'll see like it's kind of like has the names and everything, but halfway in the middle of each column or each line is the name of the person.
Okay.
So we're just choosing the top one?
Yeah, choose the top one. Now, real quick, tell them what they win.
Tell them what they've won.
Tell them what they've won. I like this effect.
You will win a brand new custom steel gobo.
Awesome. And
from Pro Gobo with free shipping.
Anthony, are you here? He's actually been for almost every freaking live stream. So if he's not here. So guys, in the comment section, let us know if you win the free gobo, what is your gobo going to be about? Not killing bunnies. Look at this. All the hashtag not killing bunnies. Elmer Fudd, Rabbit Slayer. Save the bunnies. Fewer bunnies die since EPT. What is EPT?
I don't know what EPT is.
What's EPT?
It's like a pregnancy test.
Not what he's talking about.
Ah, there we go. Yeah, I always hate when I check to see if I'm pregnant or not and a bunny dies. This is where the part of the show where it gets weird.
It's way past our bedtime. You don't even know.
All right, so real quick, I guess you have to say the name out loud. I'm sorry. Anthony Anthony Cahill, if you are here, let us know. And actually, if you just want to text me the name, yeah, that'll make it a lot easier there.
Me, you, what?
All right, Anthony, you got about 45 seconds. Let's go into the first question. And if you want to send me a couple of names, let's see here. So first question, are you guys able to figure out what color gobo I need to change the color temperature of my moving head? Oh, this is a tough one. To change the color temperature of my moving head to a warm temperature color between the 27 and 3000 K range. Basically a CTO.
There's a lot in that question. It sounds more complicated than it is, and it's definitely something we can do. We just need to know your lamp type, and of course your fixture and all that, and we can color correct our glass gobos to make it whatever color you need. Yes.
I've had somebody send me a music video, and they're like, "Hey, I need my fixture to look the same color, or I need the background to be the same color temperature that Ed Sheeran used in this music video." And I was like, "What?"
Okay.
And I sent it to David, and he's like, "Oh, okay, I got this."
You can do it.
Awesome. All right. Let's see here real quick. I'm actually just going to go and pull the next name. Next question. Do you guys plan on increasing your... Actually, I'm going to make it a two-part question. Do you guys plan on increasing your stock gobos? I mean, I guess what's available. And then the other question is, I purchase a lot of stock gobos from the other companies. So if I want a stock gobo that the other company provides, but want you guys to make it, would it be the price of a stock or a custom gobo?
Good questions. Let me speak to our stock for a second, because anybody who goes to our website that's familiar ordering stock from, like the status quo stock, we like to call it.
And because we've gone back and forth with Arnaldo on this too.
We have gone back and forth with Arnaldo about this too.
I'm a horrible customer, guys. Sorry.
When you see, no, not that kind of back, but when you see on our website our stock patterns, you'll see that they are listed for $25 with free shipping. Now, the difference is that you're getting a Pro Gobo stock gobo. So these are done by us on our metal, and what we found is that these will last anywhere from 4 to 5 times longer than your traditional really thin, flimsy metals. Regular stock gobos.
And
right?
we've learned you can touch ours, you can
yeah, you can handle ours.
You can actually handle them. And so there's a slight price difference, but once you factor in the free shipping, especially if you're ordering more than one pattern or more than one copy, it really all comes out in the wash, in my experience most of the time. But so they are $25. If you're ordering stock from another company, we are able to honor that price, or honor our stock pricing. So if you have a design that you really want that's not in our stock catalog, but it's considered stock by other companies, it's still $25. We're not going to charge you the full $69.95 for a custom.
Typically what we'll do is we'll find a design that's comparable or something close.
Nice.
And then the first part of that question was, are we adding more stock? So we add stock pretty much every day.
Almost daily, yeah.
And so if there's not something, I mean, you do this all the time, Arnold. You're like, oh, I don't see any 80s gobos in your stock catalog. And I'll be like, okay, well, here's some that we can do, and throw them out for you. That it helps us build our stock catalog the more people order stock designs.
Awesome. And you can touch the gobos.
And you can touch them. So, and they don't kill bunnies.
ProGobos.com. You can touch this gobo. That sounds dirty.
And we cram it all in there.
We're going to have a lot of takeaways from this one today.
All right, so again, we're pulling in the names in here on the chat. So if for any reason you see your name pop up, but you are not able to, well, you should be able to reply on the chat. So let's see here. Right now we're at Ben Waters, but I guess he did not reply. So next question. Gobos, can you buy them in sets, like for general events, holidays, special things, that kind of stuff?
Is that really a question? That's my favorite question ever.
You totally can. Yeah, actually on the stock page, we will come out with
Holiday
patterns.
packs.
Yeah, they're packs for around the holiday time, usually about a month out or a couple months out before any major holiday. Like I think we have a
right now we're doing
winter
an Independence
one.
Day one.
We have an Independence Day one. We've got all kinds of stuff. We have like a Valentine's Day one, I think. All those are up on the website. And basically how it works is, correct me if I'm wrong here, you buy the pack. I believe you pay for 4 and you get a 5th for free, basically.
I think they all differ depending on the amount of designs, but it's usually buy X amount, get X amount free. And so you'll see that it's featured on our Instagram right now at Pro Gobo. It's featured on our website. It's featured on Facebook. I think you shared it today too, Arnaldo, didn't you?
I did.
Yeah, so that's our Independence Day pack. But also something that we do that people, maybe we don't advertise it enough, is like if you want an alphabet of specific font,
Mm-hmm.
we can do that stock also. So rather than having to pay $69.95 for every letter of the alphabet and an ampersand, we'll honor $25 pricing for each one, so you can get an entire alphabet of stock in your favorite font.
Which is fantastic for any weddings that need a last-minute monogram, and they may not be able to afford the overnight shipping or anything like that.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
And it's not like some of our other companies. What does it say? Oh, that's funny. Some of the other companies will only do like Arial or super lame fonts, to be honest. So if you have a favorite font, I'll do it for you in a pack of that. I'm not making any sense anymore, but anyway.
No, it makes sense.
Next
Makes
question.
sense. Makes sense. Oh, because I mean, there's right now a lot of comments saying holiday packs, and a lot of manufacturers will include some basic holiday gobos, but they're not great because everybody's been using them or they're cheesy as heck.
So ours are unique. I mean, Andrea and I come up with them in the office for, we need Independence Day ones. And so, yeah, you'll have a flag or some stars, but you'll also have like our hipster Santa one for Christmas was pretty awesome.
Yep.
And just ones that are not 30
They're
years old that
fresh
you've
and
seen
they're
everywhere.
new, and they're for like the next generation of people who are using these. Like they're not the same old washed out stock Gobos you've been seeing for the last 30 years.
Yeah. So that's good to know. Let's go to the next one then. What would be the lead time if somebody from Australia wanted a gobo?
That's a great question. Ordering by like 5 p.m. Eastern or 3 or 4 p.m. Pacific, and we're gonna make it the same day. If it gets approved, we turn it over to the shipping company, which will likely be FedEx. That's who we have a relationship with.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't imagine that would be longer than a couple of days ship time.
I mean, depending on shipping prices, if you want to email us your actual address, I can quote it out for you and I can tell you exactly how long it will take. But most of the time when it's either over in Europe or in Guam and things, it's about 3 to 4 business days without paying a ridiculous amount. Like you can make it in 2 business days, but it's not the most cost effective.
Order by Monday and have it by the weekend.
Awesome. Real quick, sorry, there's a delay. Guys, those of you that are tuning in, if I have everybody just type their name, hold on, don't type your name yet, Jesus. If everybody type your name and we'll just pick a winner from there, I'll have to make sure that you are on the on the mailing list, if that would work for everybody. And it sounds like yes, it is still going to be randomized. So hang on.
How would I screenshot you my whole random thing? Would that help you?
No, it's just because a lot of the names here, I know who they are, and they're gigging or they're way out of, like in the UK, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. So, okay. Everyone, after this message, hold on a second, type your name once. Jesus, after this message, say go.
I think Ian had a couple drinks.
Oh my gosh, chill! Wait. Okay, for those of you guys that are watching this, I tell them wait, and everybody's like, oh, I'm going to type my name now. Wait, don't type yet. My God. Okay, now type your name.
Go.
All right. So we're going to give you guys about 1 minute to type in your name. And you have to be, when we check it, we need to find your first and last name or email on the giveaway mailing list. So make sure you go to gearfirst.com/giveaway.
Downey. Hey, what's up, Downey?
Okay, so let's go to the next question here. Somebody asked about the Gobo branding, putting their name and company name around the Gobo. How much does that cost? And can they do it where they could put even their client's name?
Yeah, you could totally do that. Absolutely, you could do Mr. and Mrs. You could put pretty much anything around the upper or bottom part of your Gobo, and that's etched in. So, company name, whatever you can come up with that's just text around either part. And like I said in the chat, currently that's a free add-on for our custom steel products.
Awesome, that is great. So right now we've got 3 taglines: does not kill gobos or bunnies. You can touch this gobo, and doesn't nickel and dime you on little things.
I have a question.
Also can fit more stuff on a Gobo than Mexicans in a car. That's your line, not mine.
Yes. Yes.
I have a question. Can we etch on stock?
We cannot.
We can't?
No, we cannot.
Yeah.
My
Well,
bad.
that's all right. You know, just I'm forgetting which ones. So guys, yes, remember, they can cram so much into one gobo that Donald Trump wants to deport them. Let's go into the next one real quick. Those of you that are typing in, please do not put any other comments. Do not put in any comments. Just your name. Not that difficult.
I don't know about this.
Not that difficult, guys. This is why we can't have nice things. Somebody's asking, what are Hollywood-themed gobos? So I guess other than the Hollywood sign, what Hollywood-themed gobos have you guys done in the past? Especially maybe stock gobos that would be available.
If there were, like, if we could list the number of theme parties we hear about, it's like, wait, Hollywood's got to be, like, way up there.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, so if you're doing Hollywood where it's like kind of like a movie theme, we can do like movie reels.
Do a film strip. You could do a star, like a Hollywood star with your name on
like
it.
the Walk of Fame.
Like a Walk of Fame star.
If we're talking about custom, we can do your name in the style of the Hollywood sign. There's, I mean, a bajillion different ones.
Awesome.
Yeah, all sorts of stuff.
All right, so hang on one second. I have got to tell these children to stop typing in the comments for a second. This is why I don't like doing this option here.
Not killing a bunny is just as bad as not
Saving a bunny.
So somebody asked if you guys can create a company logo gobo with all the colors in their logo. Try saying that 3 times fast.
Can we make a company gobo logo with all of the colors in their
The
logo?
GoPro logo and a gobo, that's BOGO.
With a hobo.
With a hobo. For a hobo.
Yeah, so our full color glass is unlimited colors. So
okay.
Literally, if you send me a high resolution file, that's how many colors are going to come out on your glass piece.
Fantastic. What do glass gobos usually go for?
So they start black and white at $115, including free shipping. And then you can do 1 color, 2 color, 3 color, or unlimited, which is full color. And that is $409 with free shipping.
Awesome. And then next question, and that's something we already talked about. Do you make just gobos? And I don't mean like, do you sell other things or whatnot? Because that's one of the things that makes you guys so great is that you're not going to try to, like handle 20 different businesses at once. But are there other uses for little metal stencils that DJs may have not thought about?
There are, there are things we could do, like we could make you some nice earrings, perhaps. No, one of the realistic things that DJs could use is like a spray stencil. Yeah, for sure. If you wanted to mark up road cases or a piece of equipment or something, we have the capability of cutting out like a little 8x8 square for you or something of those dimensions with a simple logo or even a complicated
Basically,
logo,
we'll make you a big ass square gobo.
Pretty much, yeah.
And you can use that to spray paint your equipment or however you choose to do your.
Yeah, it would be a lot more expensive than just cutting out a piece of cardboard, but it'll last practically forever, and you can just keep spraying over it. It'll be nice and clean cut, so it's not going to actually like wear out like a piece of wood or a piece of cardboard or something like that.
Awesome. Real quick, those see in the chats, guys. Type your name once. If I see your name like 30 times and you're trying to cheat, I'm going to disqualify you. Or we're just not going to do it this way. Come on. You guys are not children. Jeez.
How are you doing it?
You're just writing them in?
Yeah, I'm copying and pasting, but my thing automatically sorts by name, and I'm like, no. So then I'll give it to you guys so you can put in the randomizer. Okay, next one. What is the weirdest gobo you've had to make? I don't know if you're allowed to talk about that, but...
Weirdest gobo.
So the first 2 things that pop into my mind are like we do a good amount of like strip club advertisements.
Okay.
And so I mean it's not weird, but it's just like, oh, I'm doing all these weddings, and then like a naked woman pops up.
Oh, so not like
not graphic, but like
well.
Silhouettes.
Moving on.
You're talking about the one that's it actually has a pole and like a graphic of a girl swinging around. It's in the logo. It's like a part of their logo. I remember that one.
But I've never had anything like dirty or weird. I mean, we did one just the other day that said beer, which is kind of like
with an arrow pointing down. I was just imagining like a big ice chest on the floor beneath that, wherever that's gonna be projected.
Interesting. Well, you know,
Like
sorry, go ahead.
we get hit up from like Bud Light and Blue Moon. I think I have a Blue Moon one right here. That's really exciting. Like when you get to do one for a company that you recognize.
Yeah,
you
no
know?
kidding. Actually, that goes to the big one. What about copyrighted material? Let's say I have a 80s theme and I ask you, hey, can you give me the Nintendo logo? How is that handled? I mean, is that something that's not allowed to do?
So I have a lot of requests being in Orlando for people requesting a Disney castle or a Disney character, and I can't use your artwork unless you have the licensing to use it.
Mhm.
But I can do a princess castle or a character mouse.
We can definitely make you a castle.
I make you a princess castle that may or may not have some resemblance to a famous castle.
Nope,
But
no resemblance at all.
So we can kind of go around the Fair Use Act and stuff.
I think a way is that we get around it is that I'm not making it and selling it. I'm fulfilling an order, and you may or may not have the licensing for it. But is it my responsibility to ask you for it?
So we assume when you send us artwork that you have the rights to produce it. It's like if you were to make, if you were to go into like a custom coffee mug website and submit artwork there, they're gonna print you a coffee mug that you hopefully have the license for the artwork. Same concept.
Gotcha. Okay. Real quick, this became a bad idea. I'm going to try this one last time. Do not leave any comments. Everybody, when I say go, even if you already typed it, type your name once and once only so I can copy and paste, because there are people that typed it like 3 times and it's throwing the system off, and I'm trying to make this as fair as possible. So when I say go, and you'll see in the comments section, everyone type your name once and once only. Your name once and once only, even if you've just done it. Anything above this line will not be accepted. Once and once only. When I say go. Let me spam the hell out of it, because apparently there is a really bad chat delay.
Yeah, it's pretty long. It's like it's like a minute long.
So, all right. Let's see. Somebody had just asked
If we help with the Gobo design.
Yeah, I think we touched about that he probably just tuned in. Oh my God. Guys, when I say go. Hold on. Okay, go ahead with that answer, please.
So we do. We have templates online that you can choose from that you can mix and match if you're just starting from scratch. Or if you have your own artwork, you can send us the highest resolution possible where we can design a proof for you so you can see what that looks like. Or you can send us a photo of something that you've liked that you want us to try to recreate with your own spin on it. We include one design for free in the price of our Gobo. So you have that design with unlimited edits. If you were like, oh, I want to see this one, this one, and this one, this one, we get into a small artwork fee. But for the most part, it's all included. Holy cow.
They just like swarmed it.
Now these people know how to follow directions.
No, I said go, so now they're good. So. All right. Awesome.
Oh, look, Seth's on here.
Yeah.
Hi, Seth.
All right, real quick, I'll ask you some questions.
Oh, boy.
Tell me, what is your favorite Gobo projector that you guys have worked with?
We have differing opinions on this one. You go first.
Well, I like my PR1. It's like an old classic car. I turn it on, it's kind of
It's the benchmark, absolutely.
But it's awesome. It's super bright. It's really not that heavy for me to handle, and it just looks awesome. It takes a D-size Gobo, which I can get a lot of stuff on too.
I think people agree with you on that though, because people will come up to shows and be like, "Is that a pure one? I'll give you like a ridiculous amount of money for it." You're like,
really?
I'm never selling it.
Oh, cool. I have a couple of PR1s for sale in case anybody's interested. So, cool. Let's see.
Our backup light though, the one we bring out with another size Gobo at all our events is the
80J pinpoint.
It is the 80J pinpoint. Although
that's one of my favorites.
Pretty much exactly like the
Easy Gobo.
The Easy Gobo, yeah, from Chave.
Awesome. All right, I think we are ready. I told them about 30 seconds. 10, 9, 8.
Arnoldo, what's your favorite Gobo projector?
You know what? I'm actually torn because I love the Encore profile, but the more that I use the Icon profile, because it's so small, it fits on the and trusting without taking a lot of power. And it's only a 32-watt power source. That sucker is bright.
Yeah.
I have grown to love the Icon profile. We had such a great time figuring out the Gobo size of it.
Do it.
That was a blast.
Oh, man, it is. You know, I guess that's one of the things that I wouldn't really use the Icon profile as an example, but I don't understand why, at least with, like, you know, you have your Source 4 and, you know, you have the Source 4 Junior and the Encore profile. That's a standard size Gobo. Why there isn't a standard size for moving heads, and it drives me nuts. Somebody actually mentioned they had to buy all new Gobos for the moving heads because they upgraded moving heads. And
so it's a common misconception. They really isn't a standard Gobo for anything, unless it's like an old ellipsoidal, and even then people get very confused with A versus B, right? So they'll like order a B size but want an A size, and we have a lot of confusion with that. But a lot of fixtures will say they take a D size or say they'll take an M size, but they'll be a couple millimeters off, especially on the viewable diameter. And it's just interesting time doing all of our research and trial and error and figuring out exactly what size works best with exactly what light. And then they'll come out with like, oh, this one's a 28.6 OD, but this one's a 26.8 OD. So
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
forget that.
That's fun when it's 28.6 and 26.8.
Yeah.
Two.
And then sometimes they mix everything around. By the way, guys, the chat just got really interesting. Somebody's giving away porn and fidget spinners. So
What is Milk Dud doing?
no, instantly banned.
Oh, I do like that Encore profile a lot, by the way, Seth. That's an awesome light. That will probably be my next purchase.
Yeah.
I really want to try the
Okay, real quick, if you guys want to check your Facebook for just a second.
Milk Dud's totally got kicked out.
when ordering a Gobo for specific Gobo projectors, Pro Gobo know all
Yes.
the sizes for the various
We
projectors.
know all the sizes for the various projectors.
Yes.
And sometimes the manufacturer has listed it incorrectly and we know the right one.
There are at least 4 manufacturer manuals that we've read that have incorrect sizing, but thanks for Arnaldo, we have done extensive testing to figure out the exact correct size. So when ordering, you can either tell us your fixture or you can tell us the dimensions. So like if you wanted a specific ID, you can note that in your order and we'll change the ID for you appropriately.
Awesome. Holy crap, the chat just went brrr. Let's see.
Winner?
We got the winner here, right?
All right, guys, who is the winner of your vehicle?
The winner is our buddy Downey from Classic Events.
It's our friend Downey.
Downey. Everybody seems to know Downey. Isn't that crazy?
He's in your neck of the woods, isn't he?
Yes, he is. Yeah, he does some good stuff. Downey Bellador, my man, you better be on though. Like if you logged off, bruh.
I think he's on.
Downey.
Let's see. It just give it a minute. It's gotta go.
You know what? Did you notice the amount of people that just logged on as soon as we said fidget spinners and free porn? Like, for those of you guys that are just watching this, wondering what's going on, because of the live streams and the popularity they've been gaining, we do get a lot of spammers. So yeah, somebody just advertised free fidget spinners, and yeah, somebody's like, "What do you call a lighting fidget spinner? A rotating gobo?" Okay, let me ask you this: has anybody asked you for a fidget spinner gobo? That's gonna happen. Is that a stock gobo yet?
I don't know.
I don't know.
It should be. It should be one.
I will text myself.
Oh, there he is. He's on.
There's Downey. Woot woot.
Awesome. Downey, if you could do me a favor, find me. I'm actually gonna post my personal Facebook, which is always a smart idea. I'm going to post my Facebook. If you guys can add me on there, not just Downey, but everybody add me on there. This is my DJ Facebook. I'm basically adding everybody on here, not a page, just an actual profile. But Downey, if you can send me a message, and I will copy Pro Gobo in, and that way you can get your Gobo taken care of. So somebody's like, rigged. Yep, it's rigged. I wanted to give my competition a free Gobo. That's exactly how I planned it. So
You have a stock bunny Gobo. We totally should now. There is one.
Is there?
Yeah,
The Easter
there's
bunny?
an Easter
We have
bunny.
an Easter
Is that like a
bunny.
regular Easter bunny, or is it a very infamous bunny Gobo?
Well, now he's going to be a we don't kill bunnies Gobo.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be hashtag save the bunnies.
There you go.
Awesome. Well, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. More importantly, thank you very much for the prize and for going overtime. This might be the longest show so far in the stream, but the chat is just blazing on here. I mean,
I don't want to leave. I feel like we could do this for so much longer.
it is. We actually maybe we should do this like a weekly type show, like do like a weekly Gobo hints or something. So, guys, if that's something you want to see, leave it in the comments below. Much better than The Bachelorette, I think.
Okay. Andrea, our
Open up a
office
can of
assistant,
worms.
is texting me like her live thoughts on The Bachelorette, and I'm like, I can't look at these right now.
Is there really a fantasy theme or fantasy team for?
With real money involved, yes.
Oh my god!
It's not a lot of money,
Oh
but
my
I'm totally
God.
gonna win this season. I've got it all planned out.
Oh my god! Somebody saying the delay is almost making the chat useless. So that's interesting to know there's a delay. Again, we're gonna try to figure out how to make picking the prize a lot easier. It has been a little bit somewhat not difficult, but just interesting. Again, it's the first time I've done something like this. Honestly, the first time I think anybody has done a prize giveaway as big as this has been. So, Pro Gobo, David and Kate, anything else you guys want to tell everybody? Feel free to pitch your website, your Facebook.
Yeah. I feel like everybody still has questions, or if people are still popping in with questions in the delay, we might not be getting it all. So hit us up on Facebook. It's just Pro Gobo, not Pro Gobos. Feel free to email us. It's orders@progobo.com.
Yep.
You can find us on Instagram @ProGobo.
We have a live chat on our website. We're pretty much everywhere, and we respond really, really fast most of the time, unless we're asleep.
Awesome. And then I'm going to put on Facebook real quick. I'm going to put your actual Facebook page. If you guys on the chat.
Arnaldo,
Mistyped
what did
it,
you just
Arnaldo.
type?
Huh?
What did you just type?
On the website.
Did you hear the delete key? Ah, God. See what I mean? Hold on. Thank you. It's because you said it right as I was typing it. So.
No, I'm sorry.
Nah, that was everybody's like wrong site. All right, so I'm also putting to Facebook, guys. If you could do us a favor, make sure you like them on Facebook and share them and everything else. And if you have used Pro Gobo, leave them a 5-star review. Anything less, and I will come to your house and kill you.
Thank you.
But yeah, I know I want to. I mean, we could definitely keep going, but I don't want to run into John Young's time because John Young has been super generous in advertising these shows on his channel as well. So. Thank you.
If you guys have any other questions, send them to Arnaldo, send them to us. We're happy to chat more Gobos and everything else.
Absolutely, guys in the chat. Thank you all so much. It's been great hanging out and joking with all of y'all. Remember, no dead bunnies, and you can touch that Gobo. Have a good night, and God bless.
Hey, good night, guys.
Night, night.